Looking to lend a little hand this holiday season? Do your part in helping out those in need. You might want to consider getting involved on some level with Operation Secret Santa. Here's a quick overview. Formally kicking off on December 15th, Operation Secret Santa, that's hashtag OSS, is a world grassroots, strictly people-driven, Christmas charity, telethon-styled internet campaign. Referral marketing, or what's otherwise known as word of mouth, drives the project's big red sleigh, with all money, donations, and the like going directly to the needy who are selectively sponsored. The four main categories of participants we're looking for include 1. Live streaming web show hosts, speakers, producers, and performers. 2. Operator matchmaking elves, making their lists and checking them twice. 3. Secret Santa sponsors. And 4. People in any place around the world living in need, worthy of a little Christmas hand up. This year's organizers are presently working on mobilizing and building upon last year's preliminary success, with donation levels capped at a suggested price value limit of $1,000. If you've any further questions, be sure to drop by WPRPN.com or check out our groups on both Facebook and Minds.com via a keyword search of simply Operation Secret Santa, hashtag OSS.
Merry Christmas, everybody! Merry Christmas!
Welcome, everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys, to day 2 of this year's 10th annual Operation Secret Santa World Christmas Charity Outreach, Relief, and Awareness Campaign Extravaganza. As with years past, 2024's scheduled 10-day telethon has a lot of moving parts, open-sourced and ad hoc, live streaming affiliates, talent, and auction components will be featured front and center. Of course, my name is, as always, Jaffe Ryder, host and Chief Communications Officer of the Robin Hood, flagship to Pirate Radio Podcast and the wider WPRPN.com network. Great to be here with you at this late oddball hour, as it is, via South Korea. Almost midnight. Of course, makes it a pretty early morning start for people back in the West, anywhere from between 6 to 9:30, depending where you're located across the Americas. Europe, more of an afternoon affair. So we're going to be doing this actually 3 times this year with the 2024 campaign. This particular time slot, something definitely to take note of. Could potentially throw a few people off, but bear with us. Take note of how we have to adjust our schedule based on what our work hours here in the real world dictate, and everything should be fine. So this is going to run for probably about an hour, maybe an hour and a half this go around. And we're going to be back here in around 13 hours from now, 1 p.m. in the afternoon, actually, is what we'll be looking at there. I've got to get up and do help to facilitate an early morning class, ELF gig. I've been working here the past 20 plus years via South Korea. takes about an hour or so in the morning, be able to make it back home, get everything in place. Unfortunately, well, no Facebook for the time being for anyone who may be looking or hasn't noticed or would like to help spread the word. Let people know that Facebook has suspended our account. Very Grinch like approach. Apparently, they're not keen on having us promote too much in the way of Christmas campaigns. And it's really as simple as that. Probably the way that they've got their algorithms set up, presumably. It could be a mean spirited, hard hearted person lurking around in the background trying to make life as difficult as possible for us and the people that we could potentially be reaching out to and assisting this year. Of course, we do have a number of folks that we are sponsoring ourselves personally. We encourage everyone else out there to follow suit, do the same, to meet or beat the amounts that we are pledging in support of various peoples from around the world, uh, including not only monetary donations, but also things such as groceries, clothes, medical supplies, basic household items and utilities, even part-time work potentially. If you can meet up with people, as sometimes has been the case here over the years, and manage to offer them something a little in the way of employment, that's always appreciated. So definitely give that some thought. We'll get more into the details of this year's and tonight's show in particular, right after we cue up a little bit of background music to help provide some ambiance to what we're working on putting together here for you this evening. So do help once again to spread the word, like, comment, share, pass word along to your friends, family, co-workers. This really is a people-powered affair, and without your support, things don't really go all that far. Last year was the best ever campaign that we had, interestingly. So whether or not we can top that here now over the course of what remains total 10-day span, I have no idea. We'll just have to wait and see. It could very well be. Is that one picture, that frame that we're looking at there in the video slideshow, on constant rotation now? We'll have to look into that here and tweak things a little more once we get the chance. That's the thing. We're just now in the process of picking up a little more steam. Unfortunately, as we mentioned just a few moments ago, Facebook has broadsided us. Really, once again, this isn't the first time they've done this sort of thing. Years past, they've made it difficult for people to promote the show, the campaign, even when they're donating money directly to Zuckerberg and his Facebook operation. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, we've been not so much struggling as having to put up with their nonsense for some time now. It's just an ongoing battle, really, as with YouTube, where they're just gradually the slippery slope, strangulation, the boiling frog type approach, I guess, is their strategy. Only in this instance, the frogs are more than aware of what's afoot. So, hopefully there'll be a few at least that'll manage to hop out of the pot before having to meet their ultimate demise. Whatever the case, we're here to see to it that the Christmas spirit is maintained. They might want to put a damper on things and do all they can to rob us of the spark, but we're certainly not going to allow that if we can possibly manage. Vinny from Brooklyn. Hey, good to see you over in D Live, Vinny. Good to see you. So, you're welcome to join us here through Skype. If you're so inclined. Last night, we had Yvon Malfont out of Coquitlam, British Columbia. He himself actually is in some need this year, so we pledged $50 in support of his cause and working on paying for basic life essentials is what it sounds like. Rent and so forth. $50. People who are interested in looking into his situation can consider, whether they'd like to follow suit. Maybe they've got friends that live in the Coquitlam Lower Mainland area of Vancouver and would be able to actually pay Yvon and his wife a visit, dropping off groceries, winter clothes, toiletries, miscellaneous household items, medical supplies, whatever they may be in need of. That's what we're here to do. We've got people in North Carolina, potentially, is what we're looking at, along with a few others in New York. All, two of them one a single mother, another a grandmother, and they've got kids galore that they're having to take care of. So, in turn, that's what good old Saint Nicholas was all about, wasn't he? And some people think it was Satan, but no, that's just one. I think it was Coca-Cola came up with Santa, which that could be, their way of, esoteric occult way of working to subvert the paradigm. But yeah, Saint Nick, he was a real character, a Christian saint who, we could be reading verbatim here, I suppose, and we'll probably do that at some point along the way. More, better prepared with script via the interwebs and so forth. But he was a genuine, real Christian saint, monk originally, someone who I believe took part in the Council of Nicaea, which could have been where they came up with the Nicene Creed, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, there was definitely one particular meeting where the church fathers were gathered, and St. Nicholas, in a rather heated moment, stood up, having a very strong difference of opinion with someone, stood up and actually punched him in the nose. So the story goes. So whether it was actually true or not is anyone's guess. We can leave that to, I guess, people's imagination, the jury to decide. Hopefully this doesn't get us shut down via BoobTube or elsewhere for various whatever miscellaneous reasons. I think we all know how fussy and what sticklers they really can be these days, as we're seeing with regard to how Facebook's algorithms it would seem, have been weaponized, really, very hyper reactive. weaponized. So it's a shame that I'm not sure what they expect us to do, but we're certainly not providing any passports or driver's licenses or nothing like that. They can go be a flying leap. We already sent them a picture with our name on it. One of the previous shows, an interview that we did actually with Angel Espino, Angel the Jackal. Inside the Jackal's head was the name of the show, of course, and he's most recently had a chance to interview Walter Bosley. That's what it looks like, so good for him. And we might get a chance to talk to Walter here once again in the new year. We'll just have to wait and see how our Friday night feature show schedule shapes up. Of course, I am back after a rather extended duration, finally managing to get Linux back in place. A new distribution. People such as Vinny from Brooklyn might be interested in hearing. Tumbleweed distribution. It's a lot of fun, having really enjoying things. More or less, it's a little rough in spots, but we'll see what we can do to maintain a smooth of a ride as possible. So, but Christmas, what does it mean to you? Whether you're Christian, pagan, atheist, agnostic, and we are actually even reaching out to those cold-hearted Satanists. Believe it or not, challenging them really to step up. It's a one time a year where you can pledge support anonymously. That's what you're so inclined. That's fine. It's a worthy cause. Someone out there who could stand to benefit in some form or fashion from another's generosity. Everyone's seen or at least heard of Ebenezer Scrooge, Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, the famous Scrooge character, presumably. Often think of him looking upon my own fate and mortality, very impermanent state that we find ourselves here, each of us passing through. How I would hate to find myself standing outside the pearly gates, having not done or managed to serve the purpose, achieve the things that prior to this life had intended to or had agreed to. Maybe, think about this, you don't hear this too often, maybe people make a deal with the devil or angels or God or whoever, a bit of a contract and bargain. Not in this life do they sign off, but before they're born. Before they're born. You never hear it framed that way, do you? And very few people are able to step outside the box. It's always as if the deal goes down here in this life. Really, so it's definitely something worth thinking about, reflecting upon. But one of the songs we're actually going to feature tonight, Robert Stanley, song we found that he put together a reinterpretation of the classic Ave Maria, which I can't say I know all that much about. Maybe run a quick web search here while the song itself is playing, but we came across this tune on Substack just a short while before going live, and because Robert is someone that we're working on having brought on as a Friday night feature guest in the new year. Thought he might appreciate us featuring this song, which there's really quite a story to. We'll share it with you now, I suppose. Let's switch on over to the slideshow. Speaking of the pearly gates, that young lady there is someone who's the cost of her funeral we helped to pay for a number of years ago. Not sure under what circumstances she passed away, whether it was a long-term illness or sudden health issues, an incident such as a car crash or industrial related. Saw a hard hat there in the background. Possibly, pretty blue collar, sort of salt of the earth individual. But I mean, these are the sort of things that, looking at Joe Emmett on there, not sure if he was hamming it up for the camera or not. More than likely, him and Angel in the end didn't manage to get along too well, and he unfortunately decided to part ways with the show a number of years ago. But before doing so, actually proved to be someone who, to this day, is fondly remembered as the most generous donor to the campaign, Operation Secret Santa, the tune of $500. Not even sure if Joe is alive. He was struggling with some serious health issues, but unfortunately, once again, he and Angel didn't quite see eye to eye regarding matters politically related, shall we say, and just got to a point where he decided no longer to come around and make his presence known. So we haven't heard from him in a while. Hope he's doing okay though, wherever he is, whether here still with us in the land of the living, or maybe he's gone on to meet up with Pirate Larry in what the Buddhists refer to as Sukha Vati. Sukha as in succulent or sugar is what the French say. Sucre. Remember, there is a deep roots when it comes to Sanskrit and English. So the ancient scholars tell us, at least the linguists who study ancient language take a close look at these things etymologically, logically related. All right, so yeah, Sukhavati, land essentially of sweet things, heaven, basically, another way of talking about referring to heaven. So yes, Tracy Joy Steele, I have her name right. Someone, in fact, it's interesting that we have her appear on screen. We helped her out a number of years ago. She's back on her feet. I'm not sure how she managed to pull that off. Maybe she's got a job now, in fact, finds herself gainfully employed, has a couple young boys that she's working on raising. And we're hoping to see more of her as the campaign unfolds. She's talked about meeting up with us this year. We were in touch last week, so hoping that she'll drop by before too long. There's a few of Stephanie Wilcox's children, a few of them special needs, is the based on the information that she's provided us with. And we'll actually, that's something else that we could read to you here in just the next few minutes, actually. A more detailed sort of rundown of Stephanie and her family, the challenges that she faces. Her husband is a former vet. Not sure about whether she herself ever served in the military. We have another vet, former vet out of North Carolina, who uh, is someone who's actually looking for a bit of a hand up as well. So we'll get around to providing more details on her and the rest of the folks that we're promoting and more actively sponsoring as best we can here as the campaign unfolds. In the meantime, be sure to check out all of our links. If you have any questions, Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com. That's how you reach us, Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com. And we'll do all we can to provide you with whatever details we can, hoping to better clarify anything that you may find yourself still wondering about. There are, once again, a lot of moving parts to the campaign, and sometimes people not overly clear on the format and structure. But I'll tell you one thing right off the bat here: we need to remember to do this each and every night or day, depending on which part of the world we're live streaming from and managing to connect with you in real live time. But this is not Secret Santa. Let's get that straight and out of the way, right off the top. This is not Secret Santa. This is Operation Secret Santa. We're completely breaking the mold. It's a revolutionary format, approach, and template. Maybe that's why Facebook doesn't like us. I have no idea, but they wouldn't let us tag even 30 friends, and they told us we were tagging too many, while most people can tag up to 100 without any problem. So go figure. But this has nothing to do with Secret Santa as it's conventionally known back in the West. Hopefully I don't have to explain how that works and structure of things, although just in a nutshell, it has to do and deals with people engaging in a gift exchange in an office type context and approach to doing things, typically drawing names from hats and buying something for somebody just because their name was in the hat and you work with them. This is something where we're taking it to a whole new level. We're expanding things as well. Hence the revolutionary revisioning and refashioning of the mold. Anyone can do this as well too. Any live streamer out there. We're leading the charge is what we're doing. 10th annual year, working to do what we can to lead by example, encouraging people to spread the word, but also take the time, make the effort, invest in doing something like this yourself if you have the resources and wherewithal. Any live streamer could be doing this. Tim Pool, Candace Owens, Alex Jones, Jordan Peterson, Dave Rubin, Tucker Carlson. Who else? Need we name? So do they not have the resources, the ability to do so? I certainly do believe that they could without any difficulty whatsoever. It's mostly a case that they do not care to. They're not interested, or they haven't thought about it, which is unfortunate because they're pretty smart people, all of them, obviously. Rather, their priorities are geared in a somewhat different way when it comes to this particular period in time of the year. They have other issues on the table. Simply not able to set aside a little extra time and make the effort in, because we hear so much of how there is a war on Christmas. Well, this is another reason we're doing this. It's our way of pushing back a little bit, taking a stand, saying, hey, we still support Father Christmas, good old St. Nicholas, the spirit, in that context, in that sense of what he stood for, what he represented. A lot of people talk about Christmas being pagan. Well, I mean, first of all, do they even know what the term pagan means? Most of them don't. You ask them, what does this pagan thing mean? What is a pagan exactly? They might say something like infidel, or maybe non-believer. Ultimately, it just, and quite simply, all pagan really means is a country person, an unsophisticated country rube. If you've ever stopped to look at the word propaganda, you'll easily see that if taking a look at things, you can easily see that right in the middle of the word you find pagan, propaganda. There you go. So all the roads, rather, lead to Rome. Let's not ever forget that. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm 35 years old. My husband is a disabled veteran, and we have 3 special needs children. I'm a stay-at-home caretaker for our youngest daughter who needs rigorous daily support. We are struggling financially and could really use a helping hand this holiday season. I was recently diagnosed with trigeminal neuralgia. I wonder if this came about as a result of the pill shots. Can we talk about that yet? Are we allowed to actually voice, the truth? You still, thought crimes, essentially. But anyways, a debilitating rare neurological disease, we'll have to ask her when this happened, that causes bouts of severe pain that make everyday living nearly unbearable. I kind of have a sense of what she feels like sometimes. I'm laying in bed and I've got major neurological issues with my body, my back, my spine. It's mostly because of I had some surgery in 2008 to work, presumably, on correcting 2 herniated discs. That's what that was all about. And, there's physical pain to a degree, chronic physical pain, comes and goes. Sometimes you have acute attacks. And other times just the chronic ongoing symptoms. But it's not only the physical end of things, it is all this neurological business too. So maybe we have something in common. I'll have to talk to her. And I think we have invited her onto Skype as well too. So, if people ideally, like with Yvonne last night, was able to join us. Roger Hansen as well. Let's not forget. And who else did we have on board? Why am I mind dumping right now? We had three guys: Yvonne, Roger Hansen, and I'll get to that here momentarily, I suppose. I have to check the archives, but whatever the case, it was a great premiere show at the right time. This is a little tricky because it's early and typically only people like Vinny are up and about, or as the East Coast Canadians say, up in the butte, eh? Up in the butte, eh? Americans just love ribbing Canadians over their accents. It's quite something. It never fails. So, yeah, we'll get that out there before they get a chance to take a pot shot at me. I'll do it myself. But so she has this trigeminal neuralgia, rare debilitating neurological disease causing bouts of pain, making everyday living nearly unbearable. I hear you, sister. So I feel your pain. It attacks cause unrelenting shocks to my face. Ooh, this is harsh. Reminds me of this Justin Bieber, what he was diagnosed with. So, and that was because his wife almost died of a stroke too, for the same reason. It would seem, or it's just a coincidence. And of course, she's not even 30 years old, for crying out loud. It's right around the same time where he had his facial paralysis and so forth. So, and causing both physical and mental anguish. It's understandable. Yeah, severe anxiety, depression, impacting her life drastically. Our family lives on a fixed income and would be truly grateful for any help this holiday season. They live in New York, by the way. Pretty sure, for anyone who's wondering. So, we have a couple people in New York. A grandmother, actually, of 6. This other lady, we're going to provide hopefully more of her details tomorrow. In just a little more than 12 hours from now, as a matter of fact, is the way we have things scheduled. So, once again, a little erratic here. Unfortunately, this is mostly so we can work around our actual in real life work schedule. The sort of thing that helps to pay the bills, as compared to what we're doing now, where we do not solicit any direct donations. What we do, though, is encourage others to reach out and support someone in your community, or take a look at these people that you're hearing us talk about, whether Yvonne out of Quinquitlam, him and his wife, Stephanie, and a few others that we'll be talking about once again in greater depth over the coming few shows. So if you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out. Pirate One Radio at protonmail.com. It's also, if you have any show suggestions or guest ideas, definitely the way to do things. So, her family living on a fixed income would truly be grateful for any help this holiday season. Her biggest needs are reliable vehicle and special needs bed for her toddler. However, we would also be very appreciative of help with bills, or even just providing our girls with a few gifts for under the tree. Isabella is 12 and has the sweetest, kindest soul. She always chooses to see the best in everyone and everything. Yeah, I remember her talking about her kids last year. So, good stuff. Gabriella, 6, and so unintentionally funny. Sounds like she's a bit of a ham. Definitely a little entertainer, that's what her mom says. Aubriella, 3, nonverbal, and special needs. She's a little whirlwind and keeps us all on our toes. We would be truly grateful for anything. Merry Christmas from my family to yours. Well, that's just lovely. Just beautiful letter. The time she took there to to reach out to us with details regarding her and her family's current plight, and anything that some angel in human form, Secret Santa, could do to, to help out a little bit, provide a little bit of a hand up. So we're pledging $50 in support of her and her family. Anyone else out there who finds it within your means to meet or beat that particular amount, we want to hear from you. Definitely, could stand to, everyone could stand to benefit from some form of assistance, whether, once again, monetary, groceries, food. She talked about, special needs bed, clothing, you name it. If people could show up as well to their house, wouldn't, that be something? It's really a wonderful thing, and a little Christmas miracle. Whenever we, see things such as that, actually take place. So, Robert Stanley out there listening now. Okay, so let's. He's wondering how to join. Let's. What we're gonna do, Robert? Tell you what. We're gonna queue up. We're gonna talk about what you had to offer, actually, via Substack, and then bring you into the conversation, or at least we'll try to. So we'll see how this goes. If we can find the copy that we had set aside. It's one thing thinking about just now, as it is WKRP in Cincinnati. Did they ever do any Christmas shows? They must have. That's one reason I've got to go back and watch. When I get a chance, I'm going back, watch the whole series all over again. Just listen to a show where Lonnie Anderson was featured. I guess she has a bit of an interest in the paranormal, Bigfoot, UFOs, ghosts, all that kind of good stuff. And Tim Reed, actually, Venus Flytrap. She was Jennifer, of course, the secretary on the series. And this is recorded actually before Howard Hessman, Dr. Johnny Fever, passed away. Just in the last, 2 years, I guess is what it was, right? So, yeah, happy sailing to him. Most definitely. He was a pretty cool dude. Great character actor, too. So, I should check out his IMDb. Did I say that right? DB, right? Internet Movie Database page. And take a look at everything that he has on board. There were a few movies and TV show series where he appeared, of course, and played various small bits, roles, and so forth. So, but does anyone remember a Christmas show? Maybe you can look it up. I guess we're live streaming here, so it would have made good sense. Now, where did we stash that information? The copy that we had dealing with, bloody hell, this is wild, man. The Substack that we had off of Robert's page. We had Stephanie and her information. That doesn't make any sense. It's got to be here somewhere. Day 2, maybe? Is this where it is? No, that's not it. Oh, we keep digging around here, I guess. That's really bizarre. It's like it's completely disappeared. Huh. That's weird. Well, I guess, maybe we could dive into we have one folder here. It's marked Operation Secret Santa. So let's take a look at that. We do have his Ave Maria music available in hand. So what we could possibly do is cue that up and let it play, and then maybe be able to check out his Substack one more time and come back to you with the copy before bringing him into the conversation and seeing what more he can potentially add to the conversation as a whole. Rounding it all off, capping the chat off with whatever features or items he reckons we may have missed out on. So if we can find the right folder here, yes, Angel's Prayer. Is that what Ave Maria means? I have no idea. This is what it's titled. Angel's Prayer, Robert Stanley. So this is pretty cool. I guess we'll hear more, whether it seems he's a bit of a musician. So how about that? How cool is that? So here we go, folks. Ave Maria, Angel's Prayer, courtesy of Robert Stanley. All right, Angel's Prayer, or Ave Maria, if you prefer, courtesy of Robert Stanley, someone who we had been hoping to bring on board here in the feature guest capacity. Once we got our Linux system back up in place, we do have that now. So happy to announce that, share that with the listening audience. We've also just issued an appeal to Fakebook. They have requested uh, a selfie, as it were, a selfie. And now this is the same selfie that we used last time. We were required to respond to the suspension proceedings, the attempt to uh, take our Facebook account offline, basically down and offline, have it memory hold, essentially, so there would be no track or trace of Jaffe ever having had anything to do with Fakebook since he started way back in, geez, I don't know, 2009, 2010. It's quite some time now, folks. Anyways, the lyrics of this modern version of the Annunciation by the Archangel Gabriel to Mary were gifted to me telepathically during the Christmas holiday of 2007, says Robert. At this time, I was listening in my headphones to a woman singing Schubert's Ave Maria in German. For some bizarre reason, I heard the lyrics presented here in English and hurriedly wrote them down. After and while writing, I was overwhelmed with an extremely powerful wave of emotion and gratitude. My heart felt like it would burst as tears of joy streamed from my eyes onto the page. That's when I knew I'd been chosen to produce this angelic love song as a divine gift to mankind from God slash Jesus. We responded on Facebook, or rather Substack, by saying, "Ahoy, matey! Fascinating story. Is this you singing? Exactly the sort of content we were looking for. We'll likely feature it tonight, day 2 of our annual WPRPN hashtag WPRPN, hashtag OSS 2024 outreach and relief campaign. Merry Christmas, Captain Long John Sinclair." And then we left behind a couple links, including the main URL to Minds, the content we have in place via Minds. Encourage everyone, to, of course, to check that out, and the chat room actually that is operating off of minds.com, the OSS chat room, Operation Secret Santa. So, food for thought as far as all this business is concerned. Hashtag OSS, of course, meaning simply Operation Secret Santa. It sounds like we have got Robert Stanley on the line. Now, I'm not sure. Is this via California, Robert?
That's where I'm originally from. I'm currently living in southern Florida, not far from Mar-a-Lago, actually, which is weird. Didn't plan that. And yeah, so I've traveled to 59 countries. I lived in Hong Kong for about 4 years and came back to California in 2019. And then we moved in 2022 down here to southern Florida for my wife's work in the toy industry. So yeah, things have been pretty interesting lately
Yeah, what
for
kind of
us.
toys does your wife help to produce?
The major ones for Hasbro, Mattel, those are the bigger ones, obviously. And I'm trying to think who else. And she's worked for small companies too. They're usually, affiliated with the bigger ones. They all kind of work. It's a very small industry, actually.
Is she is
Once you
she
get into
is she all about brainstorming then, creative design?
it. Yeah, but the thing is, you can't just go off on a tangent because especially the bigger companies, they're just sort of like a movie. You got to have you got a budget and you got all these people involved, and they're like, well, we think that the public wants this. So that's the marketing. And she works in design. She's an executive now. And the problem is, I should say, the challenge is working with the people in marketing that are always think they know better. And so, anyway, just saying. Okay, so if you look on the internet right now, one of the leading brands is called Littlest Pet Shop, and it's just a bunch of little figurines of animals that mostly girls want to collect them. And it was really popular when it first launched through Hasbro, and then some people, mostly in Hollywood, got involved, and they wanted to do. I think it was like a cartoon, or anyway, they changed the look of it so much the girls didn't want it anymore. So because it wasn't being designed for little girls, it was being designed for these adults with huge egos. So the brand died, and they put it on the shelf. And then years later, like, was it a year ago? Hasbro licensed it to a smaller company here in Florida. And just coincidentally, my wife was available. So the owner said, "Hey, you're like the perfect person to relaunch this brand." So yes, there's a lot of to answer your question. There's a lot of creativity that goes into it. My wife is really exceptional designer, and but it's mainly because she knows she can put her mind into the framework of a young girl,
Of
and
course, sure.
right, right. Whereas a lot of these older guys, they don't know, as clueless, and uh, so anyway, they relaunched it, and now it's skyrocketed into the back into the number one slot or whatever the top slots are, and it's it's really frustrating for her because she's worried that somebody or some group is going to come along and basically kill the brand again,
Oh,
over
well.
design it or overthink it, whatever you want to call it. But
hmm
yeah, it's that's the challenge. Most people think, oh, toys, that's fun, because they never worked there. They don't understand how stressful it really
Yeah,
is.
licensing would be a big thing too, I'd imagine.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of stress. So when the reason we moved to Rhode Island from back in 2008 was for my wife to work for Hasbro. And she did such a good job there that when Hasbro acquired the business from Disney, they took it away from Mattel, and they for a lot of money, and they promised them the moon. But they didn't have, logistically, they weren't even set up for it. They didn't have the team, and everything that they had promised was like in the future.
hmm
So my wife said, oh, they came to her and they go, "Hey, could you lead a team in Hong Kong? We'll move you and your family over there, etc." Okay, sure. Well, she gets there and she said it was like um, a train coming down. You had to build the tracks in front of the train in order to get it to go anywhere.
Ah,
And it was just so she started with a handful of people and ended up with like, after a few years, it was 60 something people working with her on just servicing the Disney thing. And they made billions of dollars off Littlest Princess. What's it called? Little, isn't that what it's
the
called? The Little
mermaid?
Princess? A Little Mermaid. No, what is that? The Disney Prince.
Oh, you're
Sorry.
talking about.
Disney princesses. That's what
Oh,
I'm thinking of.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Especially that one
The
with the
Frozen?
Frozen. Thank you. Yes, Frozen was she came along at the time when they launched Frozen,
Wow.
and and also what was the other one with the Beauty and the Beast?
hmm
That was huge
hmm
for them. And yeah, anyway, I'm not involved in that, but because my wife is, she tells me everything about
Yeah.
it. So
All
that's how
right.
come I know.
Actually, could I get you to turn your speakers, either turn your speakers
What?
down or turn
Oh,
them away,
uh,
and turn them away
hang
from
on.
each other?
Is that better?
Yeah, just with the feedback kind of echo. Just
Okay,
there's a little
sorry.
bit there. You don't have any headphones on right now, do you?
No, no, no. I had it on speakerphone. Was that
Ah,
sometimes?
are you
Okay,
are you
so
on your phone right now?
yeah,
Oh, okay. So
yep. Sorry, I wasn't sure. I mean, I could reconnect through my regular broadcast equipment, but
no. This is fine.
it's
You sound
all
great.
right.
So
Okay.
yeah, a couple things we'd like to talk about. We got your email, and
Uh huh.
we checked out what it entailed essentially. And did you hear us feature your song just a few minutes ago?
No, and it's really not my song, but thank you for doing that.
You covered
It's
it,
yeah, okay, well, thanks.
channeled it, I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah. I received it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and a lot of musicians say that, or
Right.
composers, they
Yeah.
say that
Sure.
it comes from the muse, but this was not just a muse.
Right.
This was really a very
Intense, huh?
gripping, yeah, and and very confusing too, actually, because I was like, why am I getting this exactly?
Right.
Because it was originally sung by a woman, I thought I should find a woman to sing it, and then I realized, wait a minute, no, Gabriel is not a woman. It's an archangel, a male, typically in all the literature. So I I just did like a demo track, and I thought, you know what, that's not bad. I just need to just tweak it a little bit and put it out there. And that it's so anyway, it's yes, obviously Christ is the reason for the season, so I'm putting it out there again, but I never really I don't think I ever put the actual story behind it out there, publish that.
We just covered that actually.
Oh, okay.
We're from
Yeah.
your Substack. We took note of that and
Okay.
shared that with listeners.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Yeah. And so, okay. So I, all right, when I saw you, sent me a message, I went over and was listening on your bit shoot,
Oh yeah.
I think.
Oh, okay. No,
Maybe.
D Live.
I don't know. You got a lot of links, and I'm a
Right.
little confused
We
with that.
and
Anyway,
we just got suspended from Facebook too. Believe it or not.
I'm not surprised. So the reason I'm bringing it up is because the next thing I'm going to do is be streaming live, much like you're doing here, and I decided to use Restream, even though I've done other stuff with
Yeah, that's what we
KTRA.
use Restream
Oh, you're
too.
using Restream?
Oh, yeah.
So okay, it seems okay. I just haven't
Yeah.
really fully set up. I just started getting like my different platforms, LinkedIn.
By the way, can you come on camera right now?
Let's see.
Because we have you on Skype, your avatar, but I mean,
Okay,
if
video.
I usually don't. Only when I'm with Robert, with the Morning Star Report, I come in as co-host on Mondays, and only because he's so insistent, and it's like, oh, okay, that's how I kind of.
Oh, here we go. Hang on.
Go on
Sorry.
camera. But
And there I am.
no. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to give you a screen share too. Yeah, we see
Oh,
you.
okay.
We see you. You look a little bit like Julian Lennon.
Oh, damn it. There you go again.
You don't. Have you heard that from others?
Jeez.
Hey, Jude.
Yeah, it's
Just put your camera down a little bit, if you could, Robert, just so you
there.
a little more.
Like that.
Oh, I love the. What is it?
Yeah.
It's a poor man who doesn't build a shed over his tools, as my dad would put
Okay,
it.
so I'm trying to find a place here for the camera.
A little up a little bit, up.
Okay. Yeah. It's lagging.
There. Good. Yeah. That's pretty good. There you go. Okay.
Anywho,
Nice,
I don't know.
nice.
Can you still hear me okay?
You're doing fine.
All right. So what you see behind me there is my the black curtain and stuff I have a studio, but I built it into more of a broadcast studio with proper lighting and 2 cameras and all that stuff. So I'm getting ready to go live streams.
Yeah.
And I've also relaunched Unicus magazine, and that is I'll send you a link to that as well. But unicusmagazine.com, it's spelled UNICUS magazine.com, and this particular issue, the holiday issue, is all of, I think it's very focused on Christ, and in a way that's not religious, because I am not.
Oh, really? Okay.
I know that sounds weird to people. Like, how could you have a relationship with Jesus and not be religious? Well,
as a historical figure, just look at it in a secular sense, if you want, I guess, right?
No, here's the thing. Most people will take it as a matter of faith. and I'm not good at that. I need facts.
Right, right.
I need something a little more factual. And also, religion has been weaponized, in my opinion. If
Oh
you
yeah.
look at all the
Oh,
so many factions fighting with each other,
look at Syria right now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's the whole planet, and basically that's the work of the dark side, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know how to manipulate us really well. And I mean, it's to their obviously to their advantage to manipulate us through any means possible. And what was I going with this? Oh,
Your
so
studio,
it
your live streaming
well,
operation.
yeah. So going forward, I'm going to be more focused on our relationship with God, and also specifically the dysfunctional relationship that our family has with these so-called fallen angels, and how they're imprisoned here, and ultimately how they're going to be evicted from this planet so that they don't destroy it. It's a long story, but it's not that complicated. Look, none of this, what's going on, makes any sense, in my opinion, unless you know about the fallen angels. I mean, the greatest trick that they ever pulled was convincing us that they don't exist.
And so the saying goes, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
devil.
yeah.
So, and when you talk
So,
about the family,
but
does that mean the family is an institution or just your family?
no, no, the family of God, that we're all children of God, including including the so-called fallen ones.
Okay.
All right, and so but some people say that it's a test, that we're here for it's a test for us. It's not for us, it's for them. It was part of the appeals process when they said, we want clemency, and God said, okay, I'm going to put some normal people, some real, humans, souls that haven't lost their humanity. I'm going to put them among you, and you watch them, watch their behavior, so that you can remember how to be human again.
Uh-huh.
That's what the watchers were for. They were supposed to watch our behavior, not watch over us and manipulate us and literally screw us over.
Right.
Okay.
Like
So
interfere, like you would a lot of
right.
temptation.
Right,
Along the
and they
way.
failed miserably, obviously, and that's what was the first flood.
Uh-huh.
But before that all happened, they'd already really screwed with us severely, and hybridized us, and given us weapons of war and drugs. I mean, do you know where the word pharmacopoeia comes from?
It's witchcraft.
Well, yes, but the word itself, the Greek word pharma, is actually the name of a fallen angel, Pharmaros.
Didn't know that.
Well, they don't want you. I told you, they don't want
Well,
us
yeah,
to
it's
know this.
occulted, right? Yes, exactly.
Yes, it's hidden. It's hidden from us. But anyway, everything was, in my opinion, everything was supposed to be revealed to us by last year.
Really?
But because the dark side launched the what are we going to call it? Genetically modified bioweapons.
Yeah, we're on YouTube right now, so we even at this late date, we still, they will shut us down for the slightest little infraction.
Okay, well, I hope that wasn't one of them.
Oh
but,
no, I think that's fine. That's
So anyway, they like I said, they've been manipulating us, and they're desperate to retain control. But
Yep.
all they know how to do is lie, cheat, steal, and kill.
Is this the
All right.
Nephilim that we're talking
Yeah,
about?
well, the Nephilim. Okay, all right, good point. The fallen angels are the deep state. They are the shadow government. They live underground, they live under the ocean, and they live in low Earth orbit. They cannot leave low Earth orbit.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's an energy field around the planet. It's a huge torsion field that was put there to prevent them from leaving. So they're imprisoned here. And they were given a chance to prove that they are sincerely want to be rehabilitated. Because they wanted clemency, they wanted leniency, they didn't want to be punished. But obviously, a lot of them still feel like, well, I guess, whatever, they're committed to the dark side. And I think this was their last chance. So anyway, now is this, in biblical terms, we're living through the separating of the wheat from the chaff. That's right. What's really happening. And that's one of the reasons they're going completely nuts they're throwing everything at us right now. that they have.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with the pornography is one thing that comes to mind, along with the temptation of drugs. You know,
Oh
drugs
yeah.
and porn. And trust me, I've explored both worlds. You know, significantly. You know, enough to the
Yeah.
point where I've been, you know, living a pretty much walking the straight and narrow here the
Good.
last number of years, thank goodness. And you know, decisions. Almost, in fact, I almost bought a bottle of rum tonight. I was going to, and because of, you know, it's the Christmas season. We have alcoholism that runs in the family, and my dad, like, I had problems when I was younger, just out raising hell and going crazy, and typical, you know, just youth run amok. But either you straighten out or you die, and a lot of people don't have the chance to, to straighten out. They, you know, they lose their lives before they get that opportunity, or things just get so off course that they end up in situations where they're never able to return from the hole that they've dug themselves into. So yeah, I kind of hear what you're talking about, and it's something that for me I need to reflect on and meditate on
Yes.
more deeply. No, I'm not really a big prayer guy per se. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I guess you could say I pray sometimes. I'm just open to truth, and you know, I guess you could say the Holy Spirit. I mean, who, if you're a
Yes.
spiritual person, who isn't? It's like, you know, come on, show me the way. Uh, but and you're so right about temptation as well. There's no doubt about it. It's so easy to fall victim because we're weak. We're weak and we're selfish in so many ways. Our ego is, and we need to liberate ourselves from our egos. It would seem ultimately, but anyways, let's. Well, I don't know. Do you want to talk a little bit more about Ave Maria, or we could take this anywhere you like. We've only got maybe a few more minutes because of the length to the live stream we had set aside. We got actually someone waiting in the wings here, so if you can just stand by momentarily, maybe if
All
you
right.
want to mute yourself out, and uh, you know, I should actually mute out this other channel as well too. But let's just see what we can do here as far as the audio is concerned. You know, we really need some web tech support. But I'll tell you what, we did pick up a little bit of help from a friend here out of the UK who does have some ability in that area, and he helped to point us in the right direction as far as getting our Linux machine back up and running. So that was very much appreciated. But let's see if we can connect with our friend here out of Arizona, USA, and not cause too much of a technical train wreck in the process of doing so. She had said that she wanted to drop by and be a part of tonight's live stream. Roger Hansen as well, too, if I'm not mistaken. Uh, let's see, it's just a matter of time. You can come back in if
Too much of
oh,
a
there we go. You got to turn your speakers off, Sonia. You turn your
doing
speakers
so.
off. Maybe mute
She
yourself out.
There we go.
All right. Hey, welcome
Hi.
to our second episode and installment of this year's 10th annual Operation Secret Santa hashtag OSS 2024 Christmas
Yeah.
charity outreach, relief, and consciousness raising Christmas campaign.
Fantastic. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Good stuff. Yeah. So our friend here, Robert, who we met through another Robert Morningstar. This is Robert Stanley. We finally managed to connect with. We've been kind of monkeying around behind the scenes a little bit, and I've been really, you know, quite apologetic because of my inability to, you know, get the show up and running. But I'm feeling pretty good now with you know, the Linux in place on the other computer, and
Yeah.
got the monitors
Great.
there and everything, so I can see what the heck is going on here. That's how I saw you, in fact, come into the conversation. So, how's Arizona looking this fine
Um,
morning, or is it
uh,
raining?
well, pretty good, I'd say.
Uh
Yeah,
huh.
I haven't been too much, but
Okay. All right.
yeah.
All right. You've yet to meet Robert. I take it. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, Robert. I'm Sonia. I do T-shirts and tattoos over here in AZ. Yeah. So
All
get
right,
ready
nice
for
to
that too.
nice to meet you.
She's
Yeah.
among other things, she's into the tarot, which to me is kind of problematic, actually. As much as
Sure.
love Sonia and respect her, that she's a very very sweet person
Thanks.
and soul. So,
Yeah.
but this divination business, I've got the I Ching here on hand. I don't play around with it though. I don't monkey around with the I Ching because it's now you could bibliomancy. Do you know what that is, Robert? Bibliomancy. Use books.
No.
You just take a book and you flip through it, like Jung's synchronicity, Carl Jung, and
Yeah.
synchromysticism.
Yeah.
You flip through the book and just stop, and boom, what's the first word or sentence that
Yeah.
jumps out at you?
I
And you
did that as a
take it,
kid in the
take it from there.
dictionary.
What's
Fun for
that?
that.
Pardon me?
I used to do that when I was a kid.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I used.
Did somebody show you that, or you just did it intuitively?
No, I just intuitively. I books, so it's kind of like that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, the whole divination thing. I'm not sure how Christmassy that is exactly, but we could have actually done maybe we should have done a tarot reading for the Christmas campaign. I'll tell you what. Actually, speaking of the I Ching, we were talking about this last night because Yvonne was on board, and he's an outreach kind of how would you a counselor of sorts who has his own practice, as it were, out of Coquitlam, BC. It's in the lower mainland near Vancouver, and he's doing, I think, pastoral type work right now and dealing with people that are caught up in the illegal immigration racket. They've maybe made their way into Canada and they shouldn't be there, and the authorities, believe it or not, in Canada they sometimes do this. They nab you and confine you and say, hey, we've got, it's time for you to leave. It takes a longer time than you would think, though, for some reason, which makes you wonder how long Trump is going to take with his whole approach and the way he manages to execute things. But we could definitely, yeah. But as far as Christmas itself is concerned, so here's just to cut to the chase rather than meandering around. This big weave, as Trump talks about it. We hit on this last night too. It's like I just you got to circle back. Socrates talked about this, right? Doesn't matter, like you can go on a long, just kind of extended conversation. It's like, where is this guy going? Circle back to the original point. That's the secret. And then it might all come together if you see, like, oh yeah, he hit on this, that, and the other point, and now I see where he was going with the connections that were made. Aha. So, but the I Ching, divination, tarot, and so forth. Definitely forget about the Ouija board. No, 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 no. No. Robert, did you ever listen to we have this in the campaign, though. This is part of the campaign where I put this on the auction block. I'm offering my services for I Ching readings. I don't do this myself. I don't play around with it, but I will. If people want an I Ching reading, I will offer that to what I haven't put like a price tag on it yet, but probably somewhere between I guess like $25-$30. I think is pretty cheap, actually, for an I Ching. That's probably take an hour at least.
Yeah, that's pretty extensive. I Ching is.
Wow.
Yeah, you can get, but then you can just you can hand over to them what the actual hexagrams are and let them look into it themselves and make of it what they will. Then they might get back to you with more questions and so forth, and
Yeah.
so, but so that's one. Guitar lessons. That's something else we have here. Sure. Actually,
Yeah.
Robert, you're a musician yourself of some degree, I guess. So
Yeah,
that's
I was my mom was a concert pianist, and so she raised me playing piano and violin, of all things, back in the 60s. That was not cool.
Wow. You don't even look that old, man. Like, how you don't look like you like, geez. I was born in '69 myself, so I just ran the
Oh, okay.
yeah, I ran the
Yeah, I was born in '59. But
Oh
so
wow.
my mom and my dad were really into classical music and
Huh.
stuff. And opera, and I was like, this is just not my style.
Right. Yeah.
So when they finally bought me my first guitar, acoustic, it was a piece of I think it was like from Sears or something. It was
Yeah.
terrible,
Yeah.
but I loved it because with a songbook, I could play chords and sing along. It was really fun.
Yeah.
That actually was fun for me.
Right.
The practicing the violin was torture.
Yeah.
Piano was okay, but anyway, so yeah, and actually my son is 29 now, and
Mhm.
he's a professional composer, musician, and he took it way further than I did, but I know he inherited that from me. It's kind of
Sure.
interesting how that passes on.
Yep.
But
Cool. That's
so
fun.
I just want to tell you guys something about the kid that popped into my head again
Mhm.
this morning, which is this is the time we should put on the armor of God,
Oh, for sure.
because the final battle is coming between good and evil on this planet. However, that is a wrong quote. And I'll explain. It's not armor. It's amor,
Ah.
love. It's
Ah.
amor. Okay, you
Wow.
heard what I said.
Imagine
Right.
that.
How the
No,
heck?
yeah.
Well, how, oh,
Funny
okay,
that
hang
they
on.
put-
How do you reckon? What? Because he was Aramaic originally, correct? And who's
Yeah. But it was intentionally hidden from us in plain view. Okay.
could have been like
Well, I mean, armor is something that shields you.
yeah.
But if you go deeper into what does that mean, the love of God, what does that exactly mean? Well, it means is it increases your resonance. When we do this, when we love God, we love ourselves. I mean, this was the most profound thing that I think that Christ said when he was asked, what are the most important commandments? And he didn't quote any of the Mosaic, so-called Mosaic laws of Moses. He said, love God with all your heart and soul, and love yourself. No, excuse me, and love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Right.
If we were doing that, honestly, we wouldn't have all this crazy crap that's going on right now.
Right.
So he simplified it for us, and it's a really good thing to follow. But what happens is when we start to have this love energy, this resonance,
Right.
it connects us with what you just said, the Holy Spirit. It's, in Star Wars, they call it the Force. And it is conscious. It is conscious. It's an intelligent living energy field that the scientists call the cosmic web of light.
Mm-hmm.
And I have an article about it on my Substack, but the bottom line is this: once we connect to that, we are we become it. We merge with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally shields us. It becomes an energy field around us that doesn't allow the dissonant energy to penetrate into us.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the so-called armor of God.
That's fascinating. I really I love that one. Yeah. Go ahead, Sonia.
Well, it's a Christmas gift that popped into my head this morning
and
again.
Yeah, love those who despise you too. Wasn't that part of the
Yes.
Beatitudes? Love your enemies.
Yes, and the reason is, well, we should forgive them and love them continually, because that keeps us in a state of resonance.
Right.
The Holy Spirit is always about resonance, or what we typically generically call the love emotion.
Vibration of some sort, cosmic
Yes.
vibration.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the resonant vibration in music, it's called harmony versus discord.
Oh yeah. Oh gee.
Okay.
We got kicked off of Discord twice, so maybe not such a bad thing after all. Yeah. They didn't want us there, dwelling among their fellow Discordians.
Yeah.
Anyway, this, as I said, everything was supposed to be revealed by last year to us, because not only the secrecy has to end, but the control of the fallen ones here. I mean, look, they're imprisoned here, but you know how in a prison system the criminals kind of run things covertly?
Yo, sure.
Oh, okay, so that's what's been going on here. The fallen ones have been running the show covertly. But the thing is, they're not getting away with anything because everything is known to the higher powers. They know
Right.
absolutely. They know our thoughts, they know our emotions, and they obviously are documenting all our deeds for
Yeah.
good or ill. So they're not these I actually kind of feel sorry for them when they lie, cheat, steal, and kill. They're actually making it worse for themselves down the line.
Well, sure.
And you're not, and you know, the interesting thing here, Sonia, is apparently Robert insists he's not Christian. He's providing all this sort of analysis and you know.
I said
insight.
I'm not religious. All right.
Oh, I thought you said you weren't Christian.
No, funny how you heard that. Yeah, because no, technically, yeah, I'd have to say that because I have to agree with the fact that I have a relationship with Christ. That typically makes me Christian. However, I have it. My relationship with Jesus is outside the church. Completely outside, because I had my encounter with him on a mountaintop, and it wasn't because of religion. It had nothing to do with religion. It had everything to do with saving a young boy's life who was possessed by demonic spirits.
Oh.
Okay.
Have I heard this? Was this something you shared with Robert on his Robert?
Yeah,
Morningstar?
I've talked. Yeah, I talked. Sure, I mentioned it to him.
Let's revisit that just in brief here before we wind up tonight's live stream. Tonight I say as well, this morning here in South Korea. Go ahead. Oh, look there.
Yeah.
Synchronicity. There's a picture of your Ave Maria. We ripped that off.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it really blows me away that you guys are actually playing that now. After all these years, it's actually taking hold. But I guess that's part of God's plan, you know. So here's the thing. I saved the boy's life. I was a security guard at the beach in Malibu. I was 25 years old. I saved his life. He was bleeding to death. I didn't realize at the time that he was possessed. It was only after years of really like reflection and study that I began to understand. I really began to understand about demonic possession and these unclean spirits and how they affect us, because that's how they feed on the negative or dissonant energy that's emitted from our DNA when we hurt ourselves or others. I can say that now, but at the time I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is when I saved the boy's life and I prevented them from feeding any more on him, they started attacking me. That's what motivated me to go up on a mountain that night on an equinox in the fall of 1985. I went up on a mountain and I prayed like my life depended on it, and it kind of did. I mean, my physical life, maybe my spiritual self too. But the bottom line is, in the middle of the night, I had an out-of-body experience where I entered a realm of light that we would have to call the Holy Spirit or the cosmic web of light, whatever you call it. And when I was there, I was approached by an entity that was brighter than the light we were in, and he looked like Jesus. But when I said, I was questioning to myself, I'm like, who is that? And he said to me, I am the Father. I know what he was saying is he was God, you know, and that really upset me because it made me feel like I was going crazy. Because at that point in my life, 25 years old, I really thought only crazy people talk to God, you know? I mean, or maybe I was just hallucinating it, but the bottom line, I wasn't. And he was being honest, and he was actually telling me something that it would take me decades to understand fully. And part of the problem is the way I was raised, and where a lot of people still confused. They think Jesus, they want to humanize him or make him they're projecting something on him that is not accurate. And I would attribute it to the dark side. They always want to put a veil over us and confuse us and divide us. So the bottom line is, Jesus is a projection, an aspect, an avatar, an emanation of God. I have to quantify it as this. God created that aspect of himself to come to this lower realm. It's not God in his totality, but it is God. and he's here for a reason. He's here in a way. Look, if God came in his entirety into this world, it would disappear. It would vanish. It would be overwhelmed. And he didn't want that. But he does want to end the war in heaven. This is all about the war in heaven, and bringing it to its conclusion here on this world. That's why he showed up here in the manner that he did, and has been interfacing with us, not just because we are fallen. The reason we fell is because we were manipulated into it by the fallen ones. Again, it goes back to a judgment that was passed on them. They appealed the sentence, and then that's basically the whole, everything that we think of as history from Adam and Eve forward. It's all because of the war in heaven. All of it. All right. So this is the final wrap up here on this world, and once it's over, that's it. It's never going to happen again. It was, yeah. I think God, I'm sure God must have known that when he gave us free will, that we could obviously behave badly. However, he also knew that he would be able to show us the way back out of that bad behavior, and ultimately it would be a teachable moment for all of creation. And we would choose, most of us would choose wisely and learn something from that, and never abuse our willpower again.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. That's right. 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 That's why it said that Satan is the god of this world. And no. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's why they liken him to a shepherd, because we were very much sheep that were being preyed upon by the dark side. So he wanted to lead, the flock back home. That's ultimately what this is all about for us, but it's also judgment. It's also, look, when he comes back, why would he come back here with an army of angels? It's not to knock out the human armies that are here. It's the fallen angels. From the very beginning, they gave us weapons of war. They were supposed to, like I told you, they were supposed to watch and learn how to behave like humans again. But no, what they did is they adulterated us, they manipulated us, they inverted us, gave us weapons of war. They turned our women into whores with makeup and jewelry, and they gave us drugs. They gave us drugs. They are the pharmaceutical industry, and among other things. So anyway, all of this is going to be resolved, I believe, in our lifetime, very, very, very soon. And this whole thing about an alien invasion is prepping us for the day that the Jesus and his army of angels are coming in what we would call spaceships. Yeah. I know. It's all, but that's all by design. It's obfuscation. But here's the bottom line, in my opinion: when Jesus and the army of angels arrive in the clouds, they're not riding clouds. They're in craft, very advanced, beautiful, loving beings that they have technology. Okay, like I said, they set up a energy torsion field around the planet, among other things. So that when they come, that the dark side is going to use their media and other ways to manipulate the masses and say, "Oh my God, we're being invaded," and that's why. Right, right. Allegedly, yeah, allegedly. And that's why they have a host of different technologies that they've inherited, been gifted by the fallen angels over the years, and they only do that to make us more valuable to them, to serve their agenda here while they're imprisoned here. Sure they are, but like I said, most of that stuff is built underground. The shadow government lives underground. The actual ruling class live underground. They have life extension, they have med beds, they got all kinds of stuff that they're not giving us because we're not part of them. That's one of the, they actually hate us from the very beginning. Like I said, when we were put here by God as an example to test the fallen ones to see if they could actually regain their humanity, from the very beginning, they were drawing us down to, they're pulling us down to their level. And that's why Cain killed his half-brother Abel.
Right.
The serpent in the garden was, serpent actually in that language, in their language, it means scientist. And the scientist that was in the garden was named Samael. He's known as by many other names, like Enki, Yah, and Lucifer.
Yeah, Samael, that always sounds like a bit of a Shem, perhaps. Shem.
No. Yeah, I'll send you the link. But the bottom line is this: he impregnated Eve before Adam did. They had a child, and that's a whole nother story. But he then impregnated her again, and that's where Cain came from. And Abel was the offspring of Adam and Eve. But the bottom line is they've been killing us for thousands of years because they don't, and they've hybridized, they've blended their seed with God's seed.
Yeah.
But it's in order to control us. They thought they could control us. But you remember the movie The Matrix? Obviously, everybody's seen it, right?
Yeah.
How the agents could hijack anybody by moving into them.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's what the dark side is. That's what possession is.
Sure.
All right. So on some level, most people, because they've seen the Hollywood movie The Exorcist, they think that that's what possession is. Well, it can be subtle and it can be extreme.
That's right.
And there's all the different levels in between.
Yep.
I know this the hard way. I found out that we're all being manipulated, right?
Sure. Do you know the ancient? Here's one for you. The ancient word for happiness, Greek, Koine Greek. Do you know what that actually was? Happiness? Nope. Eudaimonia. Literally meaning the good demon.
The daemon
within.
Yeah.
That's Alexander the Great, Socrates, even Christ probably. All during that period, eudaimonia. You're familiar with Koine Greek, presumably. So
a little bit.
Okay, well, the good demon within. You is like euphoria, euthanasia, and EU usually means a good thing, right? It's euphoria.
Yeah.
So but eudaimonia, the good demon within, and so we all have that. We all have a demon. We have a spirit, an energy, a soul. Some might say, whatever label I guess people want to apply to it. But we have free will. Obviously, I think most people do agree upon that. There is some argument, but I think it's kind of silly because I don't quite understand. Of course we have free will. It just seems kind of absurd how it would not be the case. But that aside, decisions. Yes, and we the term karma in itself just simply means action. So my way of looking at it actually is, you might be right as far as this planet is concerned, but presumably there's a lot of other planets out there with similar types of life and civilization upon them. You look out into the night sky, what are all of the stars that we see? Sonia, do you have any idea what those are? Most people don't, actually.
The stars?
Yeah,
Wow.
what are they in truth? What are they? Stars.
That's a question.
Okay.
Bodies of some sort, probably consciousnesses of some sort.
Oh, okay, that's a good, interesting way of looking at it. Robert, you want to take a stab at it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is really obvious to me because I've been studying it so long. When I talk about the cosmic web of light, it's like the neural net pathways of a brain. There's all these connections. So where you have node points of consciousness or light, that's where you see it emanating more, or what we would call stars, which produces light. It's not just the web of light; it's the web of life.
Well,
everything emanates from that.
Okay, but apparently astrophysicists, they kind of, the way they break it down is those stars are actually distant suns.
Yes, but what is the sun anyway? It's not a hydrogen reaction that they've been telling us about.
What is it then?
Okay, I got to send you the article on the cosmic web of light, and you'll see it for yourself. It's not static, it's kinetic. The energy is flowing like tributaries or veins in your body.
Yeah.
The light is literally flowing, and where it intersects, you have a greater emanation, like a radiant, like what we would call a star.
Yeah. Are we connected, energy and cosmically speaking, to those distant stars or not?
Of course. Good point. Very good point. The cosmic, when you connect, okay, just like we're connecting to the internet, the World Wide Web, all right? So when we connect on a spiritual soul level, consciously, emotionally, from our hearts, into the web of light, that gives us, just like a spider in a web, you can feel, it feels everything in the web, right? Well, the same thing is true when we connect to the web of light. We literally merge with it and we connect to it just like a modem does with a computer. And now we have access to all that information and energy. Fictionally, it's what in Star Wars what they call the Force. The Jedi don't use the Force. I mean, they only use it for defense and knowledge. That was one of the truest statements in that movie series. It's art imitating life. The Jedi is real, but if they don't call themselves that, and they don't fight for a republic, they're defenders of divinity. And the only reason that they exist is because of the war in heaven.
Are you familiar with the term bodhisattva?
Yes.
Okay. Were you familiar with that prior to your researching or connecting with the whole Christian tradition?
Well, I mean, okay. My father was a minister,
right?
Ordained.
Sure.
You knew that.
Well, I kind of picked up. I mean, with your family background, it kind of leads to that, doesn't it? With the classical music.
Here's the thing. Yeah, but here's the thing. My dad was an ordained minister under Yogananda.
Oh.
So.
Oh, that no, I didn't. That I.
Yeah,
no.
so that's not typical Christian. He was, anyway.
Paramahansa Yogananda.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they were. My dad met him when he was a child, and I went through the whole whatever with him while he was in Southern California. My dad became very close, worked with him on the different ashrams, and took all the courses, and ultimately became an ordained minister.
Okay.
And then Yogananda passed away in 52.
Right.
So my dad continued on in the organization until he met my mom, and then he got married and had to leave in 58, 57, something, I don't know.
Oh,
something like that.
was he abstinent or something for the longest time? Is that
Allegedly? Look, if you're really touching on something here. I mean, I don't want to. Yogananda wasn't. Let me tell you, I know for a fact because
you take your vows. Look, you take your vows. Either stick to your vows.
No, not necessarily.
Or
he suggested celibacy, but the bottom line is he wasn't.
Yogananda.
And most of those people weren't. No, most of those people were. There was a lot of weird stuff going on in that.
Oh yeah.
In that organization.
Yeah.
Fellowship, whatever.
Right.
But that's human nature, especially in this world, right?
Was Yogananda a con man then, or just?
Oh my God! Whoa! Okay.
Or was he the real deal? Like, was he a genuine saint, or somewhere maybe in between? Or is that possible? You're either one or the other.
Okay, look, you brought it up. I didn't.
Well,
and I've already said this.
Right?
I've already said this publicly, but it's in the public record. This is not my opinion. When Yogananda's master actually said this, he said that Yogananda was possessed, but by multiple demons. And the reason that happened is because he was practicing the dark arts when he lived in, I forget wherever he was, originally in India.
Yeah.
He would ditch school and he was learning the dark arts from practitioners. And he was a master hypnotist. He knew how to hypnotize people. Like most preachers.
Very charismatic.
Very charismatic. He also came from a wealthy family. And so that's not his real name. And yes, he was manipulative under the guise of being this master, guru, yogi, whatever. But he did study with masters. And the bottom line is, when he came to America, he started off in Boston, and then he came to Florida. He was kicked out of Florida, ultimately made his way to Southern California, which was very receptive, more so than the rest of the United States. But the real thing, the secret ingredient that actually made him so popular to the West is when he started to adopt Christ.
Oh.
Not Christianity. He never said that Jesus was God. What he said was he was one of the saints. Just like the Islamists, they say that, Jesus was a great prophet, but he wasn't God. Mm-hmm. So you can, again, I'm telling you this because that's why I had I really was programmed to be prejudiced against even the possibility that Jesus was actually an aspect of God sent here by God to do a specific job, a very, very important specific job, not just for us individually, but for all of God's children collectively.
It's really interesting with NDEs. I think you've looked into NDEs. Yes. And how many people meet Jesus on the other side? It's just mind-boggling. They don't meet Buddha.
Most of them.
They don't meet Buddha. And here's the thing. I had a Buddhist friend respond to that. And do you know the reason why? You know the reason why Buddhists don't meet Buddha?
Why?
It's because he's gone. He's not coming back. Jesus, see, the Bodhisattva, they keep coming back until all sentient beings are liberated. Every little insect and worm and bird and cat and dog, butterfly, fish. That's how crazy Mahayana Buddhism is, as you may be aware, within the Bodhisattva context, as I brought up, mentioned earlier. So, and it is a real shame how many, Osho was pretty obvious, flagrant, religious con man. Chogyam Trungpa seemed to have been another one. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Chogyam Trungpa.
No.
Boulder, Colorado. Interesting. He had a lot to offer as far as the insight and wisdom, but did he actually walk his talk? Did he walk his talk? And a lot of cases they don't. They just expect everybody else to.
Right, I know.
Well,
I know. Again, this is one of the reasons I'm not religious.
Right.
You're watching my dad and the people in that group, and just in general, I said, I should have been born in Missouri, right? The Show Me State.
Oh yeah.
You got to show me. And even when God showed Himself to me that night, It was for a reason. It wasn't, there was a lot of facts that were imparted to me that I'm still not privy to because, again, the war is not over.
You weren't on any psychedelics or anything like that, were
No.
you? So let me get this straight. You read? Was this? Maybe I misheard you or just misunderstood. Were you like work? Why am I thinking lifeguard or something? Did you say that? Or
Yeah, I was just working as a security guard on the beach. A lot of
Okay.
people thought I was a lifeguard,
Right.
and I actually saved 2 lives down on the beach. That was not part of my job. One boy was drowning. I saved him, and then I saved the other boy who was bleeding. Not at the same time, but then I saved a gentleman a little older than me one day in the mountains. We're hiking, and he almost walked off a cliff. If I hadn't grabbed him and turned him around, he would have walked right off a cliff. So accidentally, okay. So those were all, to me, that was those were okay. Look, those were opportunities to prove to God and the angels that I was qualified or capable of taking on greater responsibilities here while I'm here on the ground. And they gave me a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
Including during the midst of the pandemic, at the beginning of it, 2020, just before Easter, I think that's in April, I woke up and I knew that I had been asked to do something by the Angels of Light, a council. They asked me to ask everybody that I was reaching through the modern media to ask them to intercede on our behalf in regards to the fallen angels that were here manipulating mankind, because they have advantages over us. And more importantly, if we didn't invite assistance from the Angels of Light, it would impair or inhibit their ability to help us, because they respect our free will. So and it seemed like a really simple thing to me. I'm like, sure, I'll do that. And they go, well, hang on. If you do that, you're going to get kicked off the radio. And I'm like, I was on KGRA at the time, and I'm like, so what? That's a small price to pay. And they said, well, okay, yeah, but if you're not careful, the fallen angels are going to want to kill you. And I'm like, whoa, excuse me? That doesn't sound right.
You were hosting your own show on KGRA.
Yeah.
What was the format exactly?
Just a talk show. At the time I called it Unicus Radio Hour.
Where was it based out of, or where is it based out of, KGRA?
I'll send you the archive. You can, whatever.
Yeah.
But here's the bottom line.
Okay.
I remember that show.
Thank you. And then, thanks. I was getting pretty good ratings. The bottom line is this. Later that year, I did get kicked off of KGRA.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about George Floyd. I had some guests on. We were talking about George Floyd. And I said, oh, yeah, he's an angel, a fallen angel. and one person wrote a nasty, threatening letter to the station management, said, we're going to sue you, and all this crap.
That's all it takes.
So, yeah, anyway, bottom line, I got kicked off. I had to leave.
Crazy.
And then I remembered what they told me, and I'm like, oh, God. Thanks for the warning. I will proceed with caution. And that's one of the reasons I didn't stick with it, even though I was invited back on KGRA. And like we were talking earlier, I am going to be streaming I'm going to host my show again. It's called the Unicus Report now, but it's going to be the full, like you're doing here, with the video, audio, and webcasting to a bunch of different platforms. And because the time is right, I know that they're on the run. They're really on the defensive, I should say. The dark side is on the defense. So peacefully and lovingly, we are going to end this. Those of us who serve God and are in the light, we have to end this. We have to help make sure that this comes to a peaceful conclusion, even though it's going to be very disruptive. A lot of people are going to think their world is coming to an end, and it is. The old demonic, satanic, Luciferian system of this that runs this world, mostly covertly, it has to stop. Otherwise, they're going to kill all life on the planet.
Yeah, that kind of seems to be the ultimate plan, I guess. obviously, like with
Well, there,
AI, robotics, the whole
yeah, oh,
phony Agenda
yes.
2030, World Economic Forum, the way the power that money has, the debt as it's being accrued, and it's
And
just
they said they
endless.
want to kill 90% of us. They said it
The
openly.
eugenicists, yeah, that's right, sure.
Yeah, because we're not them. We are not them. And they know it. And they know they can't control us because we love God. We still have free will. No matter what they do to us, we endure from a position of divinity, not insanity, not this satanic inversion that they're always about lie, cheat, steal, and kill. Those of us that still have our divinity intact, that spark, divine spark, we'll never surrender, never give in. We are incorruptible,
That's a
and
very
that pisses them
stoic
off.
reference, the divine spark, is it not? Very
Elect
stoic.
fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what we're doing throughout the Christmas season. We do have to wind things up here, folks.
Right.
As engaged as I
Okay.
am, I've got to get to sleep. I got a class in the morning. Sometimes I say I got a class. The wife, she insists most of the time I have no class. But that aside, you know, we do what we can here. So that's an old
Oh
Rodney
my God.
Dangerfield joke. But
Hey, by the way, I
yeah.
don't know if I told you, my wife is from Taiwan.
Okay.
Okay, so she's Chinese American,
Okay.
and I've been blessed to be, adopted into the Chinese culture.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just saying. I mean, you're in Korea now, so you kind of
Yeah.
understand.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sure.
If they love you, you're golden. If they don't want you, if you don't, forget it.
When in Korea, you know.
Yes.
So
yes.
basically, or do as the Koreans do, or change the laws, I suppose, if you can manage that.
Yeah.
So good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Bringing that about, but yeah, it's been quite the ride, and I speak a little Korean, and I'm pretty much accustomed with most of the norms and the kind of the flow of day-to-day life and the do's and the don'ts, and I basically I get along, and I'm able to deal with and accept most of what is presented to me on a day-to-day basis. There's just some little things that do bother me, but it's good practice too, like from a spiritual sense and standpoint, where because I've been meditating now in this life for 25 some odd years, and you just anytime there's a situation that arises, for me it's just I kind of step back in a stoical sense. You reflect and don't immediately respond or lash out impulsively. You breathe and just let it be. So
you know what I'm reminded of again is that old saying is to err is human, to forgive is divine. Practice that and you will increase your divinity. I'm speaking to myself too when I say that. Okay.
Sure.
I have a temper too. All right.
Oh, sure. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. But it's amazing the way that we can, with our anger, we can, I guess, just let off that steam by breathing. It's really just.
Oh yeah.
So very rarely do I blow my fuse. But the wife does test me. I will say that much. She knows, like, look, sweetie.
Oh my God, you're too funny. I just celebrated my 32 years of marriage with my wife, and we're just like, oh my God, we actually survived.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, we've been 22 or so we got about 10-year difference here between the two of us. Sonia.
Yeah, it's not a contest, but I tell you what, it is. Look, the more work you put into it, the more reward you get out of it.
The relationship.
That's what I found.
Relationships.
Yeah. All relationships, but especially marriage.
Sure. Yeah. That's just natural, I guess. That's right. It's natural and nurturing, but we've each got our quirks and issues. But you work with the hand you've been dealt and try to improve on things. So, but that being said, it was a pleasure having you on board.
Thank you.
Now we do have we have a green room. Now I'm not sure, we may have added you to the green room behind the scenes here on Skype already, actually, as I recall. which we
Oh,
don't
sure.
normally do until after we've interviewed somebody, but we figured
Yeah.
because of the delay, we just throw you into the midst of the chaos there and see how it all
All right.
pans out. A lot of good people, fellow live streamers and folks with the whole range of ideas and links that they share. I think, Sonia's in the green room, and this is a private call that we put together here tonight. Nobody answered initially when I reached out to WPRPN. It's an oddball type hour. I'm surprised
Yeah.
Roger didn't get back to us, but he'll be back within the next
Yeah.
week.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate bringing me on. And Sonia, it's
Mhm.
nice to meet you.
Yes, nice meeting you too. Absolutely.
What are your now, Sonia? Thank you, Sonia, as well. And we're going to get Robert's contact information before we end the call here, and I head off to Dreamland. But Sonia, yeah, I'm going to pull that up one more time. Actually, the T-shirts that you put together in support of the project that we've launched here, obviously. And hopefully, whoops, there's the appeal. Yeah, Facebook, Jaffe, you submitted an appeal. They want to take us our Facebook offline again. Blah
Wow.
blah blah blah. I'm sure it's all algorithms. And see,
Yes.
they have. We were just trying. We couldn't even tag like 30 friends basically off of Operation Secret Santa, and they just completely lost it. Now, normally you can tag 100, right? Like people that use Facebook know that, but so and we've got our Pirate Radio podcast page that has been locked down for the next 10 years, according to what? Yeah, no, 10 years. So it's ridiculous, and we don't really know what to do as far as now. The appeal process here was as simple as sending them a selfie was what they asked for. It did work last time, so fingers crossed they will accept what we offer them. What we provide this go round. But we'll just have to wait and see. I'm thinking of launching a Truth social, or I think it's Truth social media page, and we're having problems with social media just wanting to shut us down everywhere for some reason. I really don't know what it is.
Well, I wonder why.
It's a little bit of a head scratcher. Yeah, we'll leave that to
No,
our...
you're just too honest. They don't want, and that's the other thing. They really can't get into an honest conversation or debate because they know they're going to lose. So that's why they're trying to censor everybody who's not part of their agenda.
Unfiltered and uncensored. There's no doubt about that. I mean, we don't, like one complimentary F-bomb per show. We are pirates after all. So there's going to be a little, things are going to get a little edgy at times, but that's about the extent of thing. After that, it's 10 doubloons to the community potty mouth swear jar. So let's take a look at what. There we go. There's the other page that Sonia.
Ooh, wow.
You see that there? Now,
that's cool.
Yeah. Maybe the two of you at some point can talk. I'm not sure about drones, but UFO craft. My dad's an experiencer, actually. Believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm not in a big way, although there's a few stories I could share with you that you might find interesting. It's of the esoteric sort. So what you put together for us here, just scroll down, World Pirate Radio Podcast Network. I'll have to put my other glasses on. I have two pairs of glasses, one for the television monitors off in the distance, and one for the laptop notebook here that's a little closer. So just some information regarding myself and our project, our website. And I guess each of these, you click on each of these here, and it takes you to a separate link. The treasure chest and slashing through the BS. That's what we have so far. Is that right, Sonia?
Click on one of them.
Okay.
Those are cool.
Oh, boobies. Got milk. So, yeah. It's a little Yogananda, Yogananda there.
Yeah,
What a
right.
lusty.
You gotta have.
Old man.
That's cool.
Oh, it's great. And how did you design this?
I just did AI on that.
Yeah, that looks like AI. I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's great. Works for me.
Yeah.
But down here,
You should be talking, actually, about
now,
booty.
did we work? It should be what?
It should be talking. That's a video.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Come on
She
along
should
and
be
take a
saying
peek
something
at our
about
treasure
the
chest.
booty.
World Pirate Radio Podcast
Oh,
Network.
cool.
We share
Pirate
our
booty.
booty.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I thought
I
she,
get it.
Come
That's
on along and
clever.
take a peek at our treasure
Yeah,
chest.
it's
World
cute.
Pirate Radio
Yeah, it
Podcast
is.
Network. We share our booty.
yeah. And then the other.
Did you
the
did you
guy
guys hear
one.
that?
What?
No.
Oh,
hear
you
it.
guys. Oh, what the heck? Did we not have the screen share on? That's weird. Let me try this one more time, and because I bet you our the live streaming audience did get a chance to hear what was being said there. Hopefully this will work this time. Let's click on, see if you let me know if you can hear
Come on
this.
along.
Whoops, sorry there.
And take a peek at
Yep.
our treasure chest. World Pirate
Yes.
Radio Podcast Network. We share our booty.
World Pirate World Pirate Radio Podcast Network. We share our booty. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you come up with that one, Sonia?
Being the booty, kind of thing.
Oh my God, that is just great. I love that. So
Yeah.
and then now you got the 4 T-shirts here. Of course, the male I think is no, actually these are both okay. Just yeah,
That's just the girl.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that's
then
great.
Go back and click on the guy. It has a lovely picture of a pirate ship sailing the digital
Oh,
seas.
I see. Yeah, it's been a while since
Jeez.
I've seen these. So, yeah, and then we're working on developing a little more as far as we'd like to get coffee mugs launched through you. As I was thinking
Yep.
about this, like a merchandise director is probably like one decent title that might work.
There you
Certainly.
go.
Oh, wow. Yeah, look
I
at
love
that.
this. Yeah, this is great.
That's not the T-shirt though. Although today I was thinking of making that into
All
a
you
T-shirt.
have to add here is high, sailing the high digital seas. Yeah. Now we often
Yeah.
say it's like the
In there.
sailing the intrepid. How the hell is sailing the high? Often all too intrepid digital
Yes,
seas.
I should
Right.
put that in there.
Nah, that's a little too wordy. Just high is good enough though.
Yeah.
Anyways, and people
Right.
can,
I would put cyber sea.
what?
Sailing the cyber sea. 'Cause
Right.
That's
yeah,
what we're
yeah.
doing.
Cyber seas. That's right.
Surfing the cyber.
Well,
Yeah, whatever.
do you
Surfing the
know?
web.
Do you know what? Actually, that's a Greek word. Do you know what it actually means? Cyber.
No.
Oh, well, it's really interesting you should mention that because it means to steer.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, so or
Nice.
to govern in the sense of making decisions. You click on the mouse.
Right.
Are you going to go to this website or that one?
Right.
Where are you going to
Right.
go today? So decisions. And yeah, so you're steering, you're governing, you're overseeing the it's like
Wow.
it's like kind of Homer's Odyssey almost, I guess.
Yeah.
In a sense,
Yeah.
metaphorically or poetically.
So did I ever break this down for you what internet actually means?
No, let's hear it.
Well, you know what to inter
And-
a body?
Yeah, and then intra. Yeah,
Means-
go ahead.
Inter means to bury.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And you
Mhm.
know what a net is to ensnare.
Mm-hmm.
And what they've done is they have buried our consciousness by ensnaring it in a web of lies.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's so true because I tell you one thing is most certain is when I unplug from the interweb, we haven't watched TV here for years. That's been very refreshing.
Yeah.
Movies and documentaries, fun. We download from the web, plug them into the side of the TV, and it's a lot more
Yeah,
autonomous.
right.
It's more autonomous that way, right? So
Yeah.
But with when we unplug, when I take a break, even just from live streaming or even like caring about social media, it's super refreshing. It's
Right.
wild. Like, have you taken a break from social media for like a week, 2, maybe a month? And then come back to it? Have you just noticed how different you felt?
Yes. I encourage people to do that often.
Right. But I'm feeling great now. I'm feeling like I got a lot of energy and that we were being a little too lazy, as a matter of fact, and because we didn't have
Yeah.
the Linux in place. But it was sort of a blessing in disguise. as I figured it would be. And it's all in good time, as Sonia well
Yeah,
knows.
there's a synchronicity at work here, and it's beyond our everyday consciousness, because, like I said, there's this final judgment and the deportation of the dark side from this planet.
Mm-hmm.
It will be very disruptive, but it is actually it's an act of mercy.
Fascinating.
Or benevolence, whatever. Yeah, yeah. Hey, so Captain, the reason when you saw my face, you're like, oh, you look like so and so. You have no idea how often that happens to me.
Julian Lennon.
No. It's always somebody. It's always usually somebody different.
Oh, really?
But yes, I have a generic face for a white guy.
Huh.
All right. Yeah, but I've come to understand that the reason people recognize me as they think they've seen me somewhere else before is because you have.
Oh.
We've all met before. We have. We all have met before. Well, when I was in the presence of God, that entire night, I was there for hours. We did some things. He showed me some things that I can't fully explain. I'm not allowed to explain it right now because it's not time yet.
Oh.
But we literally we saw each other. We all saw each other as family. And that's where the recognition comes from. It's not because I'll have to give you an example. My wife and I go on a honeymoon in Hawaii. We're sitting there having breakfast. A couple comes down and sits right next to us and go, God, that was such a beautiful wedding yesterday, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, and we're my wife and I are stunned, we're trying to eat our papaya and just have some coffee. And then at some point we go, oh my God, no, we don't. They thought for sure that they knew me because I looked exactly like somebody, to their mind, they looked like somebody that they knew really well, really, really well. And yet they were able to sit down with me and have breakfast. And we finally said, look, I'm sorry, but I'm not that person.
Oh, but you did.
And then they were all embarrassed.
Oh, hang on. But you were on your honeymoon? Is that what you said? Or
yeah,
was it anniversary?
This was you. No. It was this was years ago.
Right.
We got married in 92.
And it was
December.
they said the people sat down beside you. It's like, oh, that was a great wedding yesterday.
We were sitting in a booth. My wife and I were sitting next to each other. This other couple comes over and sits right across us in the booth, and they start talking to us about the wedding that happened the day before, and they're like, God, wasn't that great?
Uh-huh. Were they actual humans, or were they sort of?
Yeah. But I'm just look. This has happened dozens and dozens and dozens of times to me.
Weird.
And I finally had to come to grips with it. It's just part of the process, all right. We're not just being rehabilitated; we're being reunited as a family of God's children.
Uh-huh. Well, you don't.
Okay, so that's where that's why I look familiar, because I am familiar. We're all family.
Well, yeah.
That explains a lot. You're the first person I've heard talk about it like that. The familiarity. That's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. But it's going to become more. All this should be common knowledge. The things that I say are not. They sound unique, but they're actually very fundamental.
Yeah.
And all of that's been gifted to me because I am connected to the Holy Spirit or the cosmic web light or the force or whatever you want to call it, God.
Sure.
That's all.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're probably a little more tuned in than a lot of other people, partly because of your youth, your growing up in the family, the environment that you did, and with your father, your parents. Was your mom was she a follower of Yogananda as well, or?
No, her mom, my grandma, wanted to marry off my mom to somebody that she felt was spiritual.
Oh.
So she took my mom down there, and actually it was an arranged marriage between my dad's dad and my mom's dad. And they introduced the two of them, and they weren't in love. They just, But hey, in the old school,
Yeah.
that was considered normal, right?
Yeah. But they got
Families
to
would
know.
arrange.
They got to know each other, obviously, and
Well, yeah, but it was both their parents knew that even though they weren't in love, that it was somehow that they would make it work. They needed each other. They just didn't realize it.
right. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, that's how my mom met my dad, and she was actually because she's a concert pianist. She was asked to play the music, the organ during at the end of the service.
Mm-hmm.
They would have somebody playing music. My mom did that for a while. So my dad loved that. He loved music. And so here's the thing. When he got married and he left the church, my mom says, you need to make some money, even though she had lots of it. My dad didn't. So she said, I am going to be your benefactor. I want you to do something, choose something. And he says, how about, I love art. She says, fine, be an artist. And that's, I'm not making this up. It's so bizarre. He ended up, he dabbled in it in college, but he ended up becoming a very prolific, world famous freelance artist. He used a palette knife with oil on canvas. And that's how we traveled around the world so much, is because he was, selling his work in different galleries and stuff.
So his artistic career took off at what age exactly? Early mid-20s?
Yeah, about that. Well, it took a while, but yeah, he eventually developed a technique with, I don't know why, it's called impressionistic. And I realized at some point that he was channeling his spiritual awareness through the paintings.
I guess so.
His inner vision, the meditation. Because he had a unique view of life that it was, there. So it wasn't my idea of fine art, but it was coming from his heart and soul, and that's all that mattered. And people appreciated that. So he was very successful at a time when there was still a strong middle class in America. So anyway, it all worked out exactly the way it was supposed to. And I'll just close with this. Yes, we have free will, but just like any parent, you have to provide guidance and parameters, for a child to grow up safely and learn how to control themselves. Right? Otherwise, things can go off the rails. So I believe that's part of what's going on for us, even though sometimes it feels like punishment. It's not. It's a process. We're all learning, and sometimes we have to learn the hard way. But it's.
Oh, I've been there. Yeah, school of hard knocks.
It's a blessing.
I was lucky to make it out alive. I really am. I'm lucky to be here.
Me too. Me too. Well, I don't believe in luck. I believe in God and the angels, and they usually don't show themselves unless it's a very critical juncture in our lives. Usually, that's not just me, but for everybody. They tend to stay behind the scenes.
Yeah. I'll share a story
Most
with you
of the
at one point. I didn't experience directly myself. It was a girlfriend of mine. And there was an angel that saved her and her children from dying in a terrible car crash. Actually, they're driving in a van, I guess. These wings, they went off the road. The road conditions were not great, I guess. And middle of the night. I think it was the middle of the night. Anyways, just veering off the road, and they were headed to be, totally going off the edge of a cliff in very dramatic fashion. And suddenly, from out of nowhere, she claimed that these giant wings appeared from out of nowhere, and like a big, just a big web, of sorts, or net, caught and captured her, the van, and saved the whole family and the children. Just bizarre. And she wasn't playing around. She wasn't crazy. She wasn't some goofy. She was someone who liked to knit. She liked to knit, and she was pretty straight laced. She smoked a little weed from time to time, drank a little wine, but she was, she was pretty had her act together. So she swore to God that's what happened. So that's amazing. I don't know if anyone's ever heard something like that, but
it happens a lot. Yes, there's hundreds and hundreds of cases
wings,
like that.
I don't know. So it must have been like interdimensional.
Oh, you mean the wing part? Yeah. Okay. So usually it's invisible. She could see it because she was in an altered state at that point. She could actually see the energy fields that were being generated. Now, and again, the angels of light use the cosmic web or the Holy Spirit to do these things. They're not doing it on their own accord. They're using the energy field that already exists that God created.
Yeah.
Not just here, but okay. Let me quantify something. When the war in heaven started, at some point, God basically evicted all the fallen angels, and He had to put them somewhere. They were kicked out of heaven, so He created this lower, what we just call a lower realm.
Mm-hmm.
This universe is a lower vibratory rate or frequency. It's not heaven. Obviously, we're not in heaven.
No.
Okay, so He evicted them, put them in this kind of like a timeout room.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And eventually, when this is all over, according to the way the Bible describes it, God is going to roll up this universe like a scroll.
Sure.
And he'll be done with it. We'll all be done with it. We're not coming back to this level anymore because it's not our home. It's not our natural state.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
But it serves a purpose. It's serving a purpose, a really important purpose.
Yeah. Oh, sure. We'll continue the conversation next time we connect, I guess.
Okay.
I'm not sure
Sorry to keep you guys.
Well, it was mostly, it was great to really connect and get to hear more of your story, your personal history and whatnot, to get clear on things. You only, I guess, I think I first heard you with Robert Morningstar and his show, The Morningstar Report, on Revolution Radio. Twice a week. I join him Monday evenings at 10 p.m. is when we kick things off because of the time change now. It's a little different here in South Korea. So I head straight from work and sit down and
very interesting.
What's that, Sonia?
The last show that you did with Robert was really interesting.
Oh, you managed to tune into that, did you? I see. Okay.
Yeah, really cool.
Uh-huh.
UFO.
Yeah, that was with Doug. I forget. Yeah. It's odd. You might know him, actually, Robert. Doug Alder or Audling.
No.
Oh, you'll meet him eventually, I guess. He's part of Mr. Morningstar's. I mean, Robert has got such an extensive network of contacts and friends and associates. It's mind-boggling. So, but anyways, look, Christmas. We'll call you up maybe in a couple days and then see if you're available to. In fact, I'll tell you what. This because we're going to do this 2 more times at this particular time, based on my work schedule, is why we're doing this. See, we're going to be back at this in 11 hours. We're kind of back and forth this go around because of my work schedule, so it's a little erratic. But if you're game, we can reconnect. That would be Thursday. That'd be Thursday. No, that'd be Friday morning your time. Same time, Friday morning, if you're around. And then I think Monday as well, too, on the lead up to Christmas, around Christmas Eve or so, approximately. But if you're around,
just text me.
Sure.
Just text me, and if I'm available, I'll respond.
All right. Yeah. Maybe Sonia, too, as well. She's a great supporter and being a real, lively, vibrant personality and contributor to all kinds of good things that have been coming her way as of late. So, all right. Now, people can contact you. What's the main website? Once again, is you saying your project? This Unixo?
Yes, it's Latin. It's pronounced Unicus. It's spelled UNICUS magazine.com. And I recently built a better website. I've been working on it for 25 years. I've been building versions of it. Yeah. And I finally feel like, what?
Sonia? I can relate.
Yeah. It's like me and my music, some of my songs I revisit. It's like, I wrote that how long ago? It's like, what? And now I'm fine-tuning it still. It's like, oh, God.
But
anyways.
Yeah.
so I do have a lot of free articles on Substack right now, and even the
Great.
the new issues of Unicus magazine. I've been posting them there for now. I'm not sure how I'm going to work it in the future, but robertstanley.substack.com, I believe is what it is.
Yep. Yeah, we're subscribed.
So yeah, and that's just and people go, where are you getting all this material? I'm like, you have no idea.
We will add
Yeah.
that to the contact information here with the archived version
Okay,
of
thanks.
tonight's live stream there, your Substack URL. That'll do the trick, I
Okay,
suppose.
okay. Sounds good.
Okay. And then Sonia, yourself?
Galacticfire.com. TEC.
Oh,
There you go.
I like that.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So thank you to both you once again. Look forward to connecting here before too long. I'm going to head off to sleep in just a few
get some
minutes.
rest.
And both of you, what have you got planned for the today? The two of you with your schedules, is standard kind of fare, or maybe Robert, more of getting your studio in shape? I would guess.
I think the studio is fine. I right now I got to finish the holiday issue of Unicus magazine. The cover's beautiful. It's a picture I took in Hong Kong Harbor years ago.
Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, it's pretty. Because I'll be on with John B. Wells on Thursday from 11 to midnight.
Oh, cool.
Eastern. Yeah. But
John B. Wells.
Yeah,
he's down there, John B. Wells.
He and his wife are really nice people, though. They've been very good to me. So, but anyway, yeah, working on a website and the issue, the magazine, and hosting a show. I must be a little crazy.
Now, are you just as coming on board as a guest with his show, or are you actually?
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He and I seem to have some rapport. But I'd love to have you guys on when I start streaming. If we have, could coordinate something. Sure. It's going to be it's an open platform, just like you guys do. I just feel like we need to communicate about these fundamental truths.
Right.
So that we're going forward, everything will be in the proper context, so people don't get so damn confused.
That's a big part of it. Yeah, it's the confusion and delusion.
Yeah,
it's a major impediments and stumbling blocks to our, to breaking on through, as the, Jim Morrison and the Doors.
Yeah,
put it
Jim Morrison.
Yeah. Dark romantic. Yeah, one of my teachers kind of mocked him as well, just similar to the way you did him. It's like, and I was talking about Nietzsche. He's like, oh no, Nietzsche. Oh, she was like, no. But Jim Morrison especially, poor guy, dark romantic, and oh well.
Yeah.
But anyways, we'll leave that aside for now, and I'm not sure what more to say other than Merry Christmas, and look forward
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, reconnecting. And
thank you.
Happy sailing. All the best. Good night to both of you.
Cheers.
Okay, good night.
Okay. So we're going to head off ourselves here to bed momentarily and have ourselves hopefully as rested as we can possibly manage. Don't want to disappoint the students too badly. Wow, that was a really great surprise. Really, really happy to have those two on board. Let us just remind folks once again, really critical that you check out the main website addresses we have in place, the URLs, and that if you have any questions, pirate1radio@protonmail.com. Fire away. We're all ears. pirate1radio@protonmail.com. This is not Secret Santa. Just to emphasize that once again, this is Operation Secret Santa. We're sponsoring a number of people directly here ourselves. We encourage everyone else out there to do the same if it's within your means. Get active in your communities, of course. Work to better cultivate and promote the Christmas spirit in whatever way you choose to, whether from a Christian standpoint, pagan, secular, atheist, and we're waiting for those Satanists to start sending donations and support on behalf of the campaign. They're the only ones so far who haven't stepped up to the plate in any way. So it would be interesting to see, Satanists' interpretation and take on Christmas, what they would actually say, as say compared to something like Halloween. Very, very interesting. But it's why we're here, of course, is because in part there is a war on Christmas. Christmas was good to me as a kid growing up. I have fond memories of Christmas in many ways. But at the same time, these days, I recognize the fact there's a lot more people out there who are less fortunate than ourselves. And while it's not a lot, we can do a little bit here to work on helping to promote whatever it takes to help lift up others from any potential hardship or misery they may be facing. So, having said that, we will be back here in just a little under 11 hours with a little slightly different approach, maybe some of the same. You never know what surprises you're going to find here coming your way. Sailing out on these high, often all too intrepid digital seas with Jaffe Ryder and the rest of the gang via Skullport Harbor. On behalf of Captain Long John Sinclair and everyone else who calls the Robin Hood and the wider WPRPN.com network home, I'm your host, as always, the show's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder, wishing you a very happy and blessed, well, I guess it's Monday back in the West, or Tuesday if you find yourself located here via Asia. We'll be in touch here before too long, hopefully, folks. Merry Christmas.
Looking to lend a little hand this holiday season? Do your part in helping out those in need. You might want to consider getting involved on some level with Operation Secret Santa. Here's a quick overview. Formally kicking off on December 15th, Operation Secret Santa, that's hashtag OSS, is a world grassroots, strictly people-driven, Christmas charity, telethon-styled internet campaign. Referral marketing, or what's otherwise known as word of mouth, drives the project's big red sleigh, with all money, donations, and the like going directly to the needy who are selectively sponsored. The four main categories of participants we're looking for include 1. Live streaming web show hosts, speakers, producers, and performers. 2. Operator matchmaking elves, making their lists and checking them twice. 3. Secret Santa sponsors. And 4. People in any place around the world living in need, worthy of a little Christmas hand up. This year's organizers are presently working on mobilizing and building upon last year's preliminary success, with donation levels capped at a suggested price value limit of $1,000. If you've any further questions, be sure to drop by WPRPN.com or check out our groups on both Facebook and Minds.com via a keyword search of simply Operation Secret Santa, hashtag OSS.